That is really good. And we're going to make this hobo strong. So we're going to use, and you want to try to get this as level as possible. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, I'm going to show you how to make hobo coffee that you can eat. Stay tuned. During the Great Depression, people just didn't have a lot of money. And they were willing to work hard for what they had, and that was never more true than of the hobo and the true hobo cultures. Remember, a hobo travels and works. A tramp travels but won't work unless he or she is made to. And a bum, they don't travel, they don't work, they're just looking for more alcohol. But a real hobo wanted to pull his own freight. He wanted to work hard and make his own way. And because he did that, because there was a high sense of personal pride involved, they didn't want to waste anything because they had worked hard for their money, whatever they could purchase, and they would look for cheap things that would extend a meal or that would help them to add to something that was already made, to increase that volume, in other words, to fill the stomach and keep them going. The recipe today is no exception. You only need a total of 3 ingredients. And you can add a 4th if you wish, but for this we're going to keep it simple, roadworthy, and something that a hobo could carry. And this was made definitely back in the 30s in the Depression, and I think you're going to like it. So let's get to that right now. So to make this, you're going to need a few simple ingredients and utensils. Again, nothing fancy, exactly something that a hobo would have carried and did carry back in the day. First of all, you're going to need a percolator. So either this or just a pot. We have a pot here, and it has about 16 ounces or 2 cups of water. So that's what, about 500 milliliters, I think. You're going to need some sort of a cup. You're going to need some gelatin, and it used to be spelled with an E, just like that, so gelatine. And this comes in several packets. You can get it in bulk, or you can get it in these packets. Keep it out of the ground. All right, so we've got these 4. Then we've got some sugar in a little glass jar. And then we have some Nescafe. And this is instant coffee, and this was very popular. It was made back then, of course. And then we have a tablespoon. And we have a nice flat plate that's got somewhat of a deep dish to it. And you're going to want something like that for making this project, and you'll see why here in a little bit. As we get started, there's a couple other things to remember. First of all, they used leftover coffee often instead of instant coffee because they just really didn't want to waste anything. Also, remember that sugar was often very limited back in the day, resulting in mildly sweet confections, not things that were super sweet like we're used to today. And lastly, it was sometimes served with cream or sweetened condensed milk, as that would also add a little bit of richness to the texture and the taste of the finished product. But for today, we're going to stick with things that a hobo could use and carry that didn't require refrigeration, other than, of course, the sweetened condensed milk, but then you would have the leftover can. So again, this would be something that you would want to make on the fly that wouldn't take a whole lot of time and would be especially easy to do in the wintertime. And now, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, electric e-bikes. Riding an electric e-bike is a lot of fun. From the smooth acceleration to the torque, handling, and excellent brake system, the electric gets the job done. And even on days like today, when we're in the middle of winter, it's still a blast to ride. Of course, I'm looking forward to the return of spring, when I'm able to ride every day. Now, this is the second electric model that I've been privileged to own, and just like my other one, the XP Lite 2.0, the XP4 is easy to ride and maintain. Some models use a super quiet belt drive, while others, like this one, use a traditional chain. And with its excellent headlight, bright tail light, and even rear turn signals, the XP4 keeps you safe and visible in low light conditions. The fit and finish are really nice, and I really like the green color of this one. Though it may be a bit wintry now, and I have to limit my riding, warm weather will be here soon. And I'm really looking forward to getting out and putting even more miles on my electric XP4. So if you'd like to own one of these amazing e-bikes, you can either click the link in the description box below, or you can scan the QR code that's showing on your screen. Also, when you do order, make sure and click on the offer to receive a free e-bike cover. And you'll get this using the discount code at checkout. And once again, thanks so much to Electric E-Bikes for sponsoring this video. First thing we need to do, we got our fire going here. We need to get the water warm. Of course, we want to keep it going as long as possible. Keep the fire nice and hot. Add some sticks to it when necessary. Now, initially, we don't want this to be boiling. We just want the water to be hot. So kind of keep that in mind. Fan it a little bit with the hat. Get that going a little better. All right, there we go. Only problem with doing that is you tend to get ashes and things on your hat, but that's all right. We just brush it off and good as new. All right, so now that that is somewhat warm, I'm going to pull the lid off, just set it to the side. And again, we don't want it to boil. We're just starting to get some bubbles in there. So next we're going to add 1/3 a cup of sugar. Now for those of you that use this, that's about 75 mLs. It's actually 5 tablespoons. All right, get that in there and you want to stir it. Let that heat up. And you want to do this before everything gets super hot. Again, we're not trying to boil it. I have to emphasize that. Once we see that that's dissolved well, we want to take 2 packets. That was the standard back in the 1930s. It would be 1 packet per cup of coffee. So per 8 ounces, if you will, or per 250 milliliters. Pour those in the hot liquid. And notice that this is unflavored gelatin. So this doesn't have any sugar or anything like that, and it's just unflavored, just straight gelatin. And we'll stir that around until it mixes in thoroughly. Now you may have to stir this for a while to get the gelatin to stop clumping. I still got some clumps down in here, and so I'm just going to keep stirring this for a while until we get it to where we want it. The consistency is perfect. All right, now that we've got that thoroughly mixed in, and see everything is not so clumpy anymore, I'm going to use our Nescafe instant coffee here, and we're going to make this Hobo strong. So we're going to use 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, and 3. Stir that in together real good. And you can kind of see what that looks like. It doesn't take long with it being warm, but got that all stirred in there good and thoroughly mixed. Next, we need to get our plate. This is an aluminum plate made by Wherever Company, and we're going to make a place here in the snow and maybe kind of make sure we don't get too much water in there, but we want to try to keep this nice and cold. So get some snow up around here. Now you can do this without snow, you can do it with just refrigeration, of course, but we're trying to get it really cold. Next, we take our coffee pot and begin to pour it in here. And you want to try to get this as level as possible. You can already see I'm off just a little bit. So we'll tap it this way just a little bit more. There we go. Go ahead and pour as much in here as we think is proper. Try again to keep that as level as we can in the bottom. And this plate will hold about 1 cup. So we have an extra in here. We'll just put it over by the fire to let it continue to cool down. Now the trick is you're going to have to let this set for 2 to 3 to 4 hours, depending how cold it is, and how long it takes for this to actually go ahead and cool down and congeal. So keep an eye on this. If it's setting in snow, we've got quite a bit here. So as that heat melted, it's going to want to sink down. So try to keep it level if you can. And just watch over it. Of course, make sure, you know, bugs and bark and things like that don't fall into it. If you did have a frying pan or a large lid, you could put something over top of this just to protect it. The idea is to let it congeal. Now, if you do have some extra, go ahead and put it in your coffee cup. There you go, there's our other cup. We do the exact same thing. We just set it down here in the snow somewhere and let it congeal and cool off. All right, now you can tell by looking at it that it's starting to congeal. I can see it on top. Also, when you hit it, you can tell that it's kind of stiff, kind of wiggles a little bit. So what you want to do then, you want to open up your little pocket blade there, and we'll see if it'll slice. Oh yeah, look at that. Definitely. So then we'll see if we can slice a piece out here. All right, yeah, we can see that's starting to come up. And get the spoon out. Let's see if we can go in here and get that piece out now. Oh yeah, look at that. That is pretty decent. It's nicely gelled. And now for the taste test. Always have to be properly thankful, you know. Wow. That's really good. It's strong. It's got that kind of bitter taste of coffee, but it's got that hint of sweetness. I could see why this was a delicacy. Also very easy to make with ingredients that you can pack with you in your haversack or in the pockets of your coat. You know, I mean, really very easy to carry. And most hobos, you know, had coffee anyway. That's extremely good. You know, because it's so cold out here with the snow and everything, I think that only took maybe a half an hour for it to congeal. I mean, honestly, didn't take long at all. So excellent for wintertime. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and another trip back into the 1930s, back into the classic era of the hobo, into dishes that were loved and used, that were simple, easy to make, and something that would give you something to fill your stomach and once in a while relieve the tedium of, you know, things that were real common like cornbread and oats and things like that. Something a little sweet, a little bit of dessert using leftover coffee or, like I said, instant coffee. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll find the link for our WayPoint Survival digital class. This is where you can sign up to train in the comfort and convenience of your own backyard the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find where you can sign up for our WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 digital newsletter. Comes to your inbox at least once a week, if not more often, and absolutely full of great ideas that you're going to want to print and keep out. Just something for you, and it's absolutely free. You'll also find our waypointsurvival.com link, and this is where you can sign up to take in-person classes at our beautiful training facility here in Southern Ohio, and the classes start in April as they do every year. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time. That is really good.